Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at the 5 clothes items I only wore after moving to America. Okay, that will be some interesting stuff. This is from Lost in the Pond. Let's give this guy a like. Don't forget, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, it truly helps me out. Without further ado, let's see what these 5 clothes are. These items. Let's see. Let's get
It's
on.
sort of my way, my little way of becoming American from the waist down.
From the waist down. What?
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to clothes. The things that we
Ooh.
wear to stay warm and to also stop our bits and bobs from showing. And since
True,
moving to
true.
the United States, it's very much become part of my awareness that
For
people in the
fashion as
United
well.
States dress differently to how I would have done back home, and certainly how all of my friends and family do. Some of those don't even wear clothes. I'm lying, we're very shy about that. That's the French. We're going to Paris in the
Okay,
summer, so
okay.
be sure not to pack anything. But in the United Kingdom, of course, all we wear is tweed and top hats. That's a stereotype. We don't actually do that. We wear regular clothes. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's if you see British people on television, then their clothes are probably indicative of the kinds of things we actually do wear in the UK. Unless you're the Doctor, nobody
Wow.
dresses quite like her. But she's from Gallifrey, so it doesn't really count. Anyway, American clothes are very slightly different. Some clothing differences here are governed by sports, or the way you sleep, or just how you navigate weather. And so without further ado, as spring is upon us, here are 5 clothing items I only wore after moving to the United States.
Let's check it out then. Baseball
Oh
cap.
yes, look at this. I look like a
Oh.
truck driver from a 1980s movie. Or a baseball player, because that's what this is. It's a baseball cap. And because we don't have the game of
You look more like a baseball player. I can give you that.
baseball in the UK, these aren't as popular over there, and I never wore one. That's a lie, I did. I did once wear that Lightwater Valley hat. It was big, orange and bright, but
Ooh.
I was a child. It was to help locate me if I got lost. And to look cool. I didn't ever achieve that, unfortunately. I had a tie-dye t-shirt. I think all children aged 12 did in the 90s. But this baseball cap has quite a lot of meaning to me. Firstly, it's a St. Patrick's Day baseball cap that I purchased, I think, last year or the year before. But also, of course, it's Chicago-based. And the reason that this
Oh.
is personal for me is that I moved to Chicago just before the Cubs won the World Series, and I was actually in Wrigleyville the night it happened, and it was crazy and meant I didn't have a baseball cap then. I needed to stay neutral in case there were any opposition fans in and around, although they would have been beaten to death. I'm not saying that baseball fans are murderers.
You probably
I
have a
know what
point
it's like
here.
when people have had beers at a sporting event of that magnitude. Anyway, baseball caps are something that I've come to wear if I'm going casual and it's the summer months or the spring months and the sun is out and otherwise shining in my eyes. Although that doesn't typically happen here in Chicago, where there's lots of cloud cover, and in that respect, it is a lot like England, and in that respect only. Something that I wouldn't wear in the summer months is our next entry. It's also something that I never wore in England.
Flannel
Yes, now
shirt.
look at me. I definitely look like that sort of stereotypical truck
Okay.
driver.
Yeah, that looks like a truck driver. I've never actually worn neither a hat, neither this flannel thing he's wearing. I've never worn this before.
From an 80s film. My name is probably Gus or something like that. But this plaid or flannel shirt is something that I took to wearing one Christmas when a family member bought it for me, and I didn't have the heart to say no. I mean, I wish I had, but it was good in those winter months, when you didn't really care what anyone thought of you, because they all look ridiculous too, and it kept you warm. It does that. I mean, under these hot lights, I'm absolutely sweating right now, but I'll continue because I'm a pro. And it's not really the kind of shirt
Exactly.
that's popular in Britain, mainly because we don't have cowboys. But Amy Pond did wear one in Doctor Who. There's another Doctor Who reference. What's going on? Is it? I'm just trying to be in vogue, I think, with the trending terms right now. Just for the record, she wasn't wearing one the day I met her, and yes, I've heard the Lost in the Pond jokes before. And so, this is still the time of year you might wear them. You could even be wearing them going into spring, but certainly wouldn't recommend wearing them much beyond then, especially because, as I've established before, it gets very hot and humid in the Midwest. And because of that, I also wouldn't wear our next entry beyond
You
winter.
wouldn't want to be sweating.
Okay, I'll be honest with
Pajamas.
you. Growing up in the
What was
United
that?
beyond, it gets very hot and
Pajamas. Pajamas. Okay.
okay, I'll be honest with you. Growing up in
Pajamas.
the United Kingdom, I did wear pajamas when I was a child, because I perceived it as something thereafter that only children did. And so I got out of it and started sleeping in my boxers until that became too much and I started sleeping like a French person sunbathes. But, and this probably lends itself to the fact that we live in the coldest place in the entire universe, and the fact that my wife's family always buy pajamas for everybody at Christmas every single year. It's getting embarrassing now. I've got about 12 pairs in that closet. And so I'm just going to give you a quick sample of what I wear these
Wow.
days. It's these perfect Star Wars pants, you know, just pajama type things. And they're kind of made of similar material, you know, so it is very, sometimes too warm in that room where we sometimes have to close the door because the cat will come in and scratch us otherwise and the heat just cranks up. Anyway, you didn't need to hear that. This is too much. I mean, it's good when you're being lazy and you just want to walk around in your house in this. You know, you don't have to be naked, and which is particularly good when you got people round. Much better to have people hang out than you. But never mind. And just a little word on the spelling of pajamas. Of course, in
Wow.
Britain we spell it Pyjamas, whereas in America it's Pajamas. I frankly don't care which spelling it is, although I did write an article about this very difference many years ago. If you would like to look into the etymology of that word, the link is below. Now, sometimes if the stars align and the cat is being well behaved and we can leave the door open, it gets a bit chilly in there and I get cold feet. Not in the metaphorical sense, but in the literal sense.
Okay, winter
Of
socks.
course
Okay,
we will.
this is something I also use during winter. For sure, you want to use those winter socks, bro. They just keep your feet nice and warm, and you can literally walk around the whole house with them, you know? That's just amazing, bro.
Wear socks in the United Kingdom. I mean, who doesn't wear socks except the
Exactly.
French, perpetually naked? But here, I've taken to wearing not just socks, but extra thick socks, and particularly, of course, during the winter, something that I talked about before. I didn't think I'd need them. I didn't think I'd ever need anything quite as thick as this, but they are. They're about that thick. They are nice, I will say that, and sometimes they're good to wear beyond the winter, like in the springtime, right? I'll wear them. I'll wear them in the house, especially when the floor hasn't been cleaned, and I'm too lazy
Exactly.
to do that. It's a nice substitute for slippers. Although I do have those, I've always had slippers. But in my drawer at any one time, I do have the odd, sometimes very odd, pair of socks, and these are literally odd. I don't. Not sure what happened with those. Sometimes that will happen though in
What
my
happened
life.
there?
It's just the way I roll. But so long as they keep my feet warm, who cares if they match? No one's going to see them because you're wearing those big hefty boots that I wear in winter. Incidentally, if you are wondering why those winter boots and the big winter jacket haven't made this list, it's because I've covered them before. I don't want to tread old ground. That was a joke about footwear. Besides, we're moving away from winter. Spring is almost upon us. I
Exactly.
mean, it is in March, technically, although I live in Chicago. So let's finish now on an item of clothing I not only wear in the winter, but when the flowers are blooming. It's not a
Ooh.
Hawaiian shirt.
Old Navy
Yes, jeans,
jeans.
jeans, jeans, but not
Jeans,
just
of
any pair of
course.
jeans. Old Navy jeans. I did wrestle with the idea of including my H&M pair of jeans in this very list, but there are two reasons that I didn't. Firstly, we have H&M in the UK. Secondly, and no offense, but H&M clothes tend to fall to pieces. If I could think of an
Really?
appropriate phrase here, it might be what my British compatriots refer to as absolutely pants. So I've just realised that's literally true here. It sort of goes with the territory. But Old Navy jeans, and I'm not getting paid to say this, so don't get that idea in your head. Old Navy jeans are way better, far, far more durable, and they keep me warm during the... Sometimes I don't even have to double up.
There
There
you
are
go
some
then.
pairs of trousers under which I will wear my cycling pants, which are very tight, especially around the legs. And you don't want to see me in those on a French beach or otherwise. And, you know, unlike the H&M jeans, Old Navy, very much an American company, San Francisco born, and is not really known in the United Kingdom. You will not find Old Navy stores out there. So it's sort of my go-to. It's sort of my way, my little way of becoming American from the waist down.
Um,
That's it for this episode.
wow,
Thank you for
bro.
tuning in. Let me know in the comments below if you're wearing clothes, or specifically what they
Yes,
are.
we
That's the
are.
more
I'm
important
wearing.
bit. And if you would like to keep up with me on a day-to-day basis and find out more little factoids about Britain versus America, follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS. And if you want to get a more visual update,
Wow, this guy is just a true legend, you know. He really explains things so well, you know. And the topic is really interesting. It keeps your attention and stuff and all that, you know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about these 5 clothes that were mentioned here. clothes slash items, you could say. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll be seeing you on the next video. So peace out.